Tzniut mean wearing skirts 4 inches below your knee? What's wrong with wearing pajama pants at night? 4 inches below your knee. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. I don't know how many inches a skirt has to be. Nobody ever told me. But I just want to introduce the whole idea of tznius. If someone were to ask you, you believe in God, you're obviously religious, how come we can't see God? Why don't we see God? You know what the answer is? One possible answer is, he is holy and I'm not, so I can't see him. If my eyes were holy, then I would see him, but my eyes are not.
I once heard that people say the best things are like not seeing, like wisdom, because you can't see wisdom.
So we can't see. There's something that prevents us from seeing?
Not really, it's just something
that's invisible.
Yeah.
The problem with that is, God is everything. God is everything. He created the chair that I'm sitting on. So who's more real? He or the chair? He's more real. The chair was nothing until he created it. And yet I can see the chair and I can't see him. That doesn't make sense. He's more real. So what you're saying is, he's like a thought. He's not so real. But that's not true. He's more real than the thought. He created thoughts. It's like saying, you can't see the thought that's in your brain. Yeah, but can you see the brain? You should be able to see the brain. The brain creates the thoughts. Now some people say, you can't see the Eibishter because you're not holy enough. A Navi was holy enough, he saw the Eibishter. Even Bilam saw. The reason that's not a good answer is because if you say you can see the Eibishter only if you're holy, that means that the Eibishter is only Bashamayim. It's like saying, if you go up to Shamayim, you'll see him. Here you don't see him because he's not here. Oh, that can't be. So in a place where people are not holy, God is not there? He's there too. So you should be able to see him. The reason we don't see him is because he hides. We would see him, but he doesn't let. It's called tzimtzum, or whatever you want to call it. So the question is, why would he do that? Why would he hide if we could see him? It's because if we saw him, we would get very excited, probably, I suppose. And then we would get over it, because how long can you be excited about something you see? We would get used to it. We would see him. We would enjoy it for a while. And then our relationship would stop. Then we would lose interest. The Eibishter says, I don't want you to see me. Because if you see me, you'll never understand me. Because you won't bother. If you see me, you won't know me. Because when you look at somebody, you don't get to know them. You don't know what kind of a person somebody is by looking at them. You're going to stare at them for 10 years. You won't know who they are. You'll only know what they are. Tall, short, skinny, fat. But you won't know who they are. So the Eibishter says, if you see me, you'll be very impressed with how tall I am. I don't want that. I want you to know me, to understand me, to know why I'm creating a world, to know what I want, what I like, what I don't like, what makes me uncomfortable, what makes me happy. If you see me, you'll never find out who I am. So I'm not going to let you see me. You know what that's called? That's called tznius. The Eibishter practices tznius. Tznius means I'm not something you can see with your eyes. I'm something you have to understand and care. If you see, you're going to lose interest. So, tznius doesn't mean I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, I have to get dressed. That's a non-Jewish version of tznius. Tznius means there are things that the eye enjoys, the eye likes to see. There are things that the ear enjoys, it likes to hear. There are things that the mind enjoys, it likes to know. There are things that the heart enjoys, it likes to feel. Tznius means there's nothing for you to see. Either get to know me, or I'm not interested in you. That's what tznius means. What does tznius in clothing mean? I don't know. Whatever. What's the difference? 4 inches, 3 inches, 12 inches, who cares? It's not about inches. It's about you. Is there something to know about you, or are you just something to look at? Because when you look, you can only see things. An eye only sees things. Are you a thing, or are you a person? When you dress tznius, you're saying, I'm not a thing, I'm not interested in your seeing me. Either be my friend and get to know me, or leave me alone. So there's this beautiful story with the Frierdiker Rebbe when he was about 6, maybe 5. He came home from Cheder, and he had a question for his father, for the Rebbe Rashab. He said, how come we have 2 eyes? It messes up the face. You have 1 mouth, on top of 1 mouth you have 1 nose, and then all of a sudden 2 eyes? Why don't you have 1 eye? Then everything would be like in a straight line. It would be beautiful. He didn't say those words. But he asked, why do we have 2 eyes? And the Rebbe Rashab thought about it, and then he said to him, do you know the difference between a shin, the letter shin, and the letter sin? And he was just learning that. So he said, yes, the shin has a dot on the right side, and the sin has a dot on the left side. So his father said, the 2 eyes are like the 2 dots from the shin and the sin. So one is on the right side and one is on the left side. When you have a dot on the right side, then the letter is a strong sound. Shin is a strong sound. Sin is a soft sound. So your right eye, which is the stronger eye, you should use for looking at other Jews. When you look at a Jew, you should look with your right eye. And your left eye, the weaker eye, the soft eye, that's the eye you should use when you're looking at candy. Frierdiker Rebbe writes in his diary that answer made such a difference to him. It changed him. Because from that day on, his love for Yidden became endless, and he kind of lost interest in candies. Didn't get excited about candies anymore. Now let's talk about it physically. Why do we have 2 eyes? How do you see better with two eyes? You see more? You have one big eye, you can see it.
Maybe you could see both sides of see the hard, the rougher side and the softer side.
Actually, begashmias, when you have two eyes, you get to see three-dimensional. If you have only one eye, then you can't tell whether this is far in front of me or very close, because you can't see deep. You can only see flat, 2 dimensions. The third dimension is deep. When you have two eyes, the two eyes can focus differently. So one can focus on what's close, and the other focuses on what's far, and you can see that there's a deep distance. That's what the Rebbe basically said to the Frierdiker Rebbe. He didn't make up some cute little answer about the shin and the sin. It's true begashmis. The Rebbe said to him, when you have two eyes, then you know the difference between a Jew and a candy. What's the difference? A Jew is something deep. A candy is just candy. It's only good for a minute. When a person is not deep, then they become like candies. You know what a deep person is? Sometimes you talk to somebody for 10 minutes and you realize, that's it. They got nothing more to say. They don't know any more than what they already told you. There's no more personality there than you see, and that's it. Boring. A deep person means you talk to them for a half hour and you think you know them. You talk to them for another half hour and it's like, oh wow, I didn't know that. You're much deeper than I thought. And then you talk to them for another half hour and you say, oh, wow, how deep do you go? You're a good example. You hear a guy singing, and it sounds very nice to listen to. But when the singer goes up to a very high note, then it becomes a little bit uncomfortable to listen to, because it sounds like he's going to crack. Like he's pushing it too far. He can't go any further. He better be careful, because he's going to crack. And then you become uncomfortable listening to it. What's really beautiful is when somebody goes to a very high note, and it sounds like he could even go to a higher note. That's like really enjoyable. But if it feels like that's it, he's reached his end, he can't go any higher than that, then he's screaming. Then it doesn't sound good anymore. So if you think that a person is, that's it, there's no more to this person. That's a shallow person. Deep means the more you get to know her, the more there is. She comes up with interesting things, she comes up with smart things, she's so much nicer than you thought. This is a deep. So we have two eyes in order to be able to appreciate the difference between deep and shallow. And that's what tznius is. Tznius means you can see whatever you want to see, but then what? Seeing is not deep. It just sees the surface. So if that's what you want, so you take pictures of yourself and you tell everybody to look. If that's not what you want, that's tznius. Now the truth is, of course, I'm sure you know this, there are some girls who don't dress tznius at all. I mean, really bad. But they are tznius-dike girls. As people, they really are deep, and they don't want to be seen. So why do they dress not tznius? They never thought about it. Nobody told them. They never realized. But they're not. See, some people dress not tznius, and some people are not tznius. Their personality is not tznius. Some people are very tznius, and they don't know how to dress properly. So the Torah says, if you are tznius, dress tznius. What is that? I don't know. Elbows, knees, noses, I don't know. You figure it out. But the important thing is it shouldn't matter. If you don't want to be looked at and you don't want to be seen, then what's the difference whether you wear 4 inches below your knee or 10 inches? As long as you don't trip over it, it's okay. So when people say, well, why is that? What's the difference? Even the Bachrim were asking, why do we have to wear a white shirt? You don't have to. Wear a purple shirt. No, why purple? Okay, forget about it. Don't wear shirts at all. Give it up. You can't, it's such a problem deciding what color to wear, then just give it up and don't wear shirts altogether. Don't make such a big issue out of it. Somebody said to me once, you have a very long beard. Yeah, that's a smart observation. You're obviously an intelligent person. He says, I'm just wondering, do you sleep with your beard under the blanket or on top of the blanket? And after that, I couldn't sleep. I tried it under, I tried it on top, and this is not right, it's not good. I couldn't sleep anymore. So what's the answer? Under the blanket or over the blanket? Which one? I gotta sleep. What?
Doesn't matter. What goes
Exactly. The answer is, if you can't handle it, just take your beard off. What are you making an issue out of it? So tznius means it's not an issue. If it is an issue, it's already not tznius. The whole point of tznius is, I don't care. So just tell me what to wear. White, fine. Purple, what's the difference? That's the point of a uniform. Why do schools have uniforms? It's a very good idea, because when you have a uniform, you wake up in the morning and you don't stand there thinking, what should I wear today? I wore that yesterday. Last week, right? But when you have a uniform, you get up, you get dressed, and you go. There's no question, should I wear this or should I wear that? It's so liberating. It's a pleasure. You can live your life. But if you're worried, under the blanket or on the blanket. There are much more interesting things to worry about.